Hello, welcome to Ascension Arcana Tarot. This is Christine with a reading for Venus going into Scorpio tomorrow on the autumn equinox. I don't know if you just saw, but the Four of Wands is at the bottom, which is one of my favorite cards of the tarot. That's the card of twin flames coming into union through marriage. So it's like very sweet. We'll see how the rest of the reading shakes out. God, what do you want my viewers to know about Venus going into Scorpio here on the equinox? We have Three of Swords, the Four of Pentacles, and the Page of Wands. This is interesting. This is reminding me of an energy that I picked up for a reading that I did for one of my friends recently. It feels like an energy of hoarding sorrow. So I don't know how that will resonate for you guys, but the Three of Swords is this energy of heartbreak, right? It's like a very sorrowful card. It's something that kind of just feel like this feeling of like having your heart completely stomped on, having it wrecked. And this guy here kind of hoarding these pentacles. So the energy of the Four of Pentacles is like, he's afraid that he'll never get more. He's afraid that he'll never get anything better. So he kind of clings onto these Four Pentacles, not realizing that the goal is actually to get to the 10 Pentacles, right? So he's kind of like stuck in almost like a poverty energy because he's not letting that abundance flow. So I feel like there's somewhere that you're not letting that sorrow kind of flow through you and out of you. And maybe even an energy of like holding on to some of that sorrow. Because maybe there's some sort of, in my spiritual work, we call it like a secondary benefit. So maybe there's like some sympathy or like attention that you're either getting from like yourself or from other people. It could be being in like victim mode, right? So this feels like a place to just be really honest with yourself. If you have gone through this sort of heartbreak of like, where or how are you still kind of hanging on to that? And what can you do to let that energy flow? The Page of Wands here, I love this card. For me, this is like, I read it as a minor arcana Fool card. I'm actually really drawn to the orange trees. I feel like traditionally that was a symbol of like wealth and prosperity. So it's just bringing up this energy of wealth as opposed to like the poverty consciousness here of the Four of Pentacles. And the Page of Wands is that sort of fool type energy where it's kind of light spirited. It's not really carrying any burdens. And it's just sort of moving forward into like adventure and the unknown and being brave about that. I feel like this is a piece of you, like maybe even your higher self sort of moving towards this place where you're hanging on to some hurt and kind of confronting it directly, like really just directly moving into that energy and just going in and healing it. Next, we have the Six of Pentacles. It's interesting. It's like another card of doling out resources. I'm feeling that same like poverty consciousness. So in this card, right, there's like this wealthy figure here, but then at the bottom, you could see these sort of hands reaching up and they're like kind of grasping for the pentacles. Like they're desperate to catch one, right? It feels like an energy where maybe you're seeing like your wealth or your good as something outside of you that you need to like grab onto something or attach to something or hold on to something outside of you instead of cultivating that abundance, that wealth, and that stability within. We have the Six of Cups. That's sweet in this deck. The cat's making me laugh. Do you guys see the cat like sticking out of the cat sticking out of the grass? That's really funny. That has nothing to do with the message of this card, but it's the thing that I'm noticing the very most. I feel like this is an energy of being watched. I don't mean in like a creepy way or something like this, but there's someone, the Six of Cups is a card of like the past, your childhood, past energies. It doesn't necessarily have to be from childhood, but it's kiddos in the card here. There's like a sweetness and an innocence to this card that's really lovely. So I feel like someone's got their eye on you or is maybe watching like how you handle this situation or kind of transform this energy, but not like in a creepy way. This could just be the energy of someone who cares about you. I'm also feeling like this could be the energy of someone who's romantically interested in you, and is keeping their eye on you to see, like, I'm feeling the energy that like when you clear this sort of poverty, when you clear this poverty consciousness around grasping to these pentacles and you're able to just let this sorrow kind of flow, your energy will be cleared. And I feel like if for you this is like a person who has a romantic interest in you, I just am seeing the cat pounce. So you know how cats sort of do that thing where they like wag their hindquarters and they just sit there and they wag and wag and wag and watch you, and then they feel like the moment comes and they like just spring into action, right? And they pounce. That's totally what I'm seeing right now. So it's kind of funny. And with this being a reading of Venus, and I feel like also with the equinox, it's like a significant shift in energy here. I feel like there's going to be some clearing here happening for you. Yeah. So this is the Empress. I feel like this is the energy that you are clearing into. We had another one flip too. And Temperance, that's really lovely. That's a powerful way to wrap up this side. So these are two major arcana cards. In this deck, they're both females. In the traditional tarot, this is an angel, but this is, for me, the Temperance is always like a transformation energy, and I always think of it as alchemy. I love how she's holding like the fire in one hand and the water in the other. Traditionally, like in the traditional zodiac, fire and water don't really mix. So if you have like a fire sign and a water sign, it's like the fire's kind of too hot for the water and the water's kind of, I don't know, too wet for the fire. It kind of like quenches the fire energy. But I always have found that combination fascinating, this sort of like opposites attract type energy. And I think one of the special things about the Temperance card is that she takes those opposite elements and finds a way to make them work like harmoniously together. I think it's so beautiful. So there's definitely a feeling of transformation, a feeling of sort of balancing these energies, like balancing that kind of fire in the water, the passion and like the emotional depths, right? And the Empress here just being you, like in your peace, you kind of clearing this stuff so that you can be this sort of nurturing, grounded, peaceful, feminine energy. It feels just very much like a healthy, powerful, actualized woman is like the feeling that I'm getting from this card. And just that woman kind of going through this transformation and this alchemy and this balancing energy that I'm getting here from the Temperance. This is lovely. I really feel that energy of, if you're not particularly adventurous, if you're in this collective and this resonates, it will be to your benefit to sort of embrace that adventurous spirit of the Page of Wands. He also comes with like an open-mindedness because the pages are children. So sort of like an open-mindedness and a curiosity and a lighthearted energy, being able to approach kind of this pattern of like clinging and grasping onto this like poverty consciousness and this sorrow. I just realized that some of you guys might not know what I mean when I'm saying poverty consciousness. It just means feeling like there's not enough. And it with it being Pentacles, feeling like it's not enough resources. So the way that the energy feels to me is that there is a void somewhere inside of you that has been left by a heartbreak, by like this heart chakra wound. And you're sort of grasping at like anything that you can outside of you to fill that void, to fill like that hole kind of in your energy or your consciousness. But I'm like even being drawn to the circle here, like there's 2 circles, right? There's multiple circles. Like you are whole unto yourself. And the way that you fill yourself and kind of fill yourself like with yourself, right? The way that you do that is by bringing love to that space inside of you that's hurting, that's experiencing this heartbreak, and that's feeling kind of like a void or like a hole. Just like pour so much love into yourself in that space. Like you can even picture sort of like a pitcher of like liquid love pouring into you, or picture like God, beaming like rays of light into your heart chakra and just like filling you with light, right? You can picture like, I don't know, I'm just picturing the elements right now actually. So that would have been water. I think light would be air. Picture like fire, like, the fire of God or angels or something like that, just sort of like beaming into your heart chakra, right? And just sort of lighting you up with this like beautiful, pure fire. Earth, I don't know, you could totally picture like a tree or something really beautiful like that growing out of your heart chakra. So I guess the way I'm going with the imagery here, it feels like maybe just close your eyes and actually picture, what would help you connect with a feeling of like the universe helping you fill that space with something really lovely that's like a gift for you, right? That you get to integrate into your consciousness, into your soul. And that's yours. Like that's a gift for you from the universe. And then with the temperance, kind of being able to balance that and just really integrate it into who you are. And I just keep seeing this cat in my mind's eye wiggling its hindquarters and like pouncing on you. Actually, even this is kind of funny. The way that she's holding the hoop and the cat here, it's kind of tiger stripey. It's making me think of like a circus where someone would be holding the hoop and like the tiger or lion or whatever like jumps through the hoop, right? Like I don't think you're actually making anybody jump through hoops, but I just saw that like it's like a target. I don't know. Someone's got their eye on you. I think it's really sweet. It could even, I'm totally feeling it as a romantic energy. If that doesn't resonate for you, it could be a friend who's kind of been like waiting in the sidelines to help you, and they just kind of feel a change in your energy and that it's like you're open to their help. Like maybe you haven't previously been open to it. But to me, it totally feels like a romantic vibe. All right. What advice do you have? Oh, that was way too much. The devil was not too much. We have the 2 of Cups and the devil. This 2 of Cups is beautiful. I haven't really seen this one yet. It's funny to talk about the elements. This guy is completely on fire. So the way that I'm feeling this actually with the conversation that we've been having about the elements, it's like imbalance. So it's like the devil is feeling for me like the opposite of the Temperance card, where she's taking those 2 opposite elements, right? The water and the fire, and really through like her alchemy and her magic and her balancing, figuring out how to have both of those things, right? And sort of the play between them. This dude is just completely on fire, right? So there's like a really imbalanced energy. And then the 2 of Cups is a relationship, like a romantic relationship or a romantic union. In the traditional tarot, it's like the hand fasting card or like a marriage card. So I'm wondering, I'm not clear right now on if that's like the past connection. Let me feel that for a minute. Okay, I'm feeling this a couple of ways. One is, so the devil can represent addictions, control, like power struggles, Anything that's kind of keeping you like stuck and chained. It's like a very ego-based energy for me. It's the illusions of things that are kind of controlling you or like feel like they're controlling you, right? So it could be that this Three of Swords for some of you, this sort of like void or hole that I'm feeling in your energy could have been caused by a toxic previous relationship. If that's the case, I feel like the advice here is for you to heal that. Don't just ignore it. Like this Page of Wands card is walking right towards that energy, right? This is a place within you. If you're in this collective, this is a place where you really want to go into those places where you've been hurt that are kind of causing this void, right? Don't avoid the void. You want to go towards the void and love yourself there. And I just felt called to say it's going to take some bravery, and like, that's okay. You know, wrap yourself up in a blanket and get cozy and just like sit down and have a good cry for a little bit, you know, and kind of move that energy. The other energy that I'm getting from that is this Fire of the Temperance card, where it could be a place within you where you're like a little too fiery. It's kind of like a control and destruction energy that I'm feeling, if that's the case for you. And if that's you, I think the advice would be to balance that with some kind of sweeter and lighter emotions. Like, you don't want to walk around setting your world on fire. It's not a comfortable place to approach relationships from, right? Like, if you're in any of that type of energy where it's around addictions and control and like extreme imbalance, you're definitely going to want to heal that before you can kind of move on to like a healthy relationship. I'm even drawn to the fact that the helmet is like over its eyes, this figure's eyes. So there's like a blindness there, an element of blindness or like refusing to see. Eight of Cups and the Queen of Wands. So the Eight of Cups card, I love like the random animals on this deck. I don't know if this will resonate for anyone that's like a little platypus. The Eight of Cups is that energy of leaving something behind that you had previously invested in and like moving on towards the future. So that's definitely bouncing off this energy here of the Three of Swords, and also this Two of Cups if that's representing like a past relationship. I just feel like the devil sort of like burn this relationship situation to the ground, right? And it's sort of left with like this chaos of like this jumble of cups. And now you're ready to move on. I'm getting the same vibe from this figure as the Page of Wands, where you're kind of moving forward to the next adventure. It even looks like, I don't know if it's supposed to. This reminds me of where I live when there's like forest fires that come through and the whole landscape just gets like destroyed. So it's almost like you're moving forward through like a destroyed landscape and you're kind of like, well, gotta just keep moving forward, right? Even though there's really nothing there. I feel like the Queen of Wands is coming up to show us what balanced fire looks like. So while the devil is over here sort of almost like indulging himself or like reveling in like this excess of like kind of fire and chaos energy, with her, it's very tempered and controlled. So she has the fire here kind of up on this pillar as like a, I don't know, like a torch or whatever, right? Kind of lighting up her balcony. It's feeling like the power of fire, the power of creation, and that sort of vibrant, bright, like warm energy. She's feeling to me like someone who has mastered this fire in like a disciplined way, in kind of like I don't know how else to say it. There's a feeling here of discipline and containment that feels really, really healthy and appropriate. So it's almost like, I don't know if this is what I'm seeing in my head. Is I feel like this is how it was in the olden days. I don't know if this is actually accurate, but I'm seeing a lighthouse. And I'm seeing someone like pulling a door and then closing a door on like a light or a fire or a candle. So like kind of letting it out in like controlled bursts. Kind of like for a purpose, right? With like a really directed purpose. Being able to open and close and kind of like moderate the fire coming out. It feels really cool. I feel like this is someone who has mastered that fire energy and is really just thriving in that like passion and that warmth and that creativity and the light, right? There's a feeling of illumination here. And even being like a beacon for others. I feel like that's a symbolism of the lighthouse, right? It feels really special. So if this is you, this is definitely a message of moving on from whatever this heartbreak was, whatever this disaster was, whatever the devil kind of ran through your life and like burned to the ground, right? You're moving forward and you are mastering transforming this devil energy into something really beautiful. On the bottom here, we have this star that's so lovely. I feel it's like compared to this fire, it's just like this quenching, cool blue water. Maybe developing more emotional intelligence, developing the ability to cool yourself down. Maybe you're like a little bit hot-headed sometimes. I can totally see that with this energy. It's kind of like the Temperance card. Like I said, learning to balance that fire and that water. And look at that. In comes your King of Wands. So, as I always say, oh, I love that. All right, we're going to leave him there too because he's important. I just totally lost my train of thought. That's funny. I don't usually do that. Okay. You might feel a little bit lost when this comes in. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. As I always say, the gender on the card is irrelevant. It's just energy. So if you're like a divine masculine or a divine feminine, it doesn't matter. This message can still resonate for you. So the way that it's playing out just with the cards is that there's a feminine energy here, right? Who's really mastering that fire energy. And I feel like in comes her man. Just that passion and the attraction and the creation energy and really getting stable with that so that it's being wielded in like the most wonderful way, the most disciplined, safe, like appropriate, fun way. It feels like fun. And this guy's looking at like, hey, what's going on over there? I feel like he's gonna be looking at her like this, right? Just admiring her. I feel that watching energy again, just like I was saying with this little cat wiggling its rump. I feel like that's this guy. He's just going to be watching. And as he sees his queen kind of mastering these skills, and I mean, look at her. She's just minding her business. She's having fun. She's doing her thing. I feel that energy of attraction very much. She's just completely minding her business. And then this guy comes in. And like recognizes her value. And the reason why the Knight of Cups is significant to me is because he often is like the Knight of Romance, and he brings in the cup, like this sweet emotional gift. I'm even drawn, usually, the Cups cards are being like water cards, right? They're like really watery, but this guy's got red, his horse is kind of gold, like it's similar colors even to the King and Queen of Wands, so I'm attracted to that. He's definitely like bouncing off of them. So yeah, I cannot predict what, oh, that's funny. I think it just is the Ace of Wands and then the Nine of Pentacles. That's cool. The Ace of Wands is new beginnings, like the new beginnings of the fire suit. And then the Nine of Pentacles is similar to what I was just saying with the Queen of Wands. The Nine of Pentacles is independent. She has everything that she needs. She doesn't need anyone outside of her to like fulfill her, complete her, or something like that. So I feel like that kind of goes around to this message again, where you don't have to kind of grab at these things outside of you to try to fill you up. You go to this place where you're hurting and you just bring your own love there and your own attention there. And maybe you need to watch some movies or cry or go for a run or whatever, paint a picture, like do whatever is your way of connecting with your heart space and kind of moving that energy. That feels really nice. This is an interesting reading. There's someone coming into mastery here that feels really nice. I also feel like the fire element is appropriate with the autumn equinox coming up here, because it's the time of year where now the night is longer than the daylight, right? So it's like we're entering into the time of darkness. So sort of having that inner fire, not in the way of the devil where he's just blindly burning everything down, as like a destructive thing, but in the way of the Queen of Wands, where it's really about passion and self-mastery, right? And sort of being able to wield that fire with incredible grace and strength and like inner power. It feels like the perfect time of year for you to be going through like learning those skills and mastering that, because we're moving into the time of darkness, right? So if there's ever a time to be a beacon, to be a lighthouse, to be wielding that fire, like it's now, Feels really nice. This is one of my new decks that I just got. It's the Foxfire Kitsune deck. I felt called to use it because foxes, like red foxes for me, are fire animals. That was a fumble. That's too many. And I'm like, feel like all of this pretty orange and fire reminds me of like a fox. So we have the Noble One and Past Lives. That's interesting. Yeah, this Noble One, this card to me is just feeling like you leveling up into like goddess mode. I don't know how else to say that. Like if there is a goddess in the tarot, it's the Empress, and she's here. And I very much feel her as you, as like leveled up you when you move through this energy. So there's a feeling here of like quiet power and peace and dignity that I feel like goes along with that feeling of nobility. That's really cool. And I'm also super drawn to the fact that her robe and even the card is like all like purple and blue. So again, bringing some of that, kind of tempering the fire, right, with the emotions and building that emotional intelligence feels like a huge piece here. Past lives, that's really sweet. It makes me wonder if you're working through some karma with some of this, whatever this situation was that caused this heartbreak. Could be something that you needed to go through in order to clean up some past karma. But you're in a place now, I feel, where you have some sort of healing modality that you're using that can help you kind of move through this, which is why this energy is coming up, because you are equipped to move through it in this lifetime. Oh my goodness. When I get new decks, sometimes they just are like flying out everywhere. Tea ceremony and call forth the waves. That's sweet. I feel like this is the energy that I was saying before of like get cozy in a blanket and watch a movie or something. Like, look, she's even got like the leaves on her kimono and stuff. Just this like beautiful, cozy time of year, and really just like snuggling down with that energy feels like it will feel really nice for you. Call forth the waves. Yeah, I feel like this is you diving into the depths of your emotions. And if this is resonating for you, you might be a fire sign. If you don't have a fire sign as like one of your big three, which is your sun, moon, or your ascendant, I just feel this like kind of fiery, passionate energy from you. So going into the water might not be very comfortable for you. Like I was saying earlier, that sort of feeling of like water signs and fire signs, like just in some ways, just not like naturally meshing together. And that doesn't mean that they can't at all. Like I have great relationships with some people in my life who are fire signs and I'm a water sign. So it's not that you can't mesh, but it's just not quite as natural as fitting together with like your more compatible energy. So in the zodiac, earth and water tend to go pretty easily together, and fire and air tend to go pretty easily together. But I feel like you're learning, like fire and water kind of being opposites, like you're learning how to dive into the place that's kind of uncomfortable for you, which is like this ocean, right? And learning how beautiful that is for you. Like this card is so peaceful. She's so serene. She's in her power. Like it definitely feels just like this magical alchemy energy that you're really are learning, that this beautiful balance to kind of command both that passion and these emotional depths and do it in like this really fluid and graceful way. I think it's just going to make you feel so powerful. I just heard in my head that this Empress is kind of like a commander of the elements. So usually I get that from the Magician card. Like on the Magician card, he has all of the elements like on his table, right? Where is my deck? Oh, here it is. I'm like wondering if the Magician is somewhere significant. No, I'm just totally channeling his energy right now. It's interesting. But I'm feeling that with you. Like there's sort of is like this sorceress energy here, like this energy of magic where you really are just, it's reminding me of the show Avatar, that you're just like wielding the elements, right? You're like wielding this beautiful passion and this emotional depths in such like a skillful way. This is really lovely. I love this. I don't know. I feel like we'll do an animal card. Sorry, I'm feeling the energy of one more. So I want to honor that. What do you want to say to viewers here? Wise crocodile. Confidence, self-discovery, instinct. You need to tap into your feelings. Yeah, that's cute. That's the whole message that I've been talking about, right? Going into that feelings place, going into that hurt place with that open mind, that sense of adventure. There's like a lightness there to it. And just let it flow. Just let it clear out, kind of filling that void or space within you with your love and just the incredible like glow up. I just feel that you're so skillful and so balanced and so magnetic by the end of this. Like I can't even tell you how much this king looks to me like that cat wagging its butt and then like pouncing on the Queen of Wands. Like you're going to be so magnetic when you master this. It's awesome. That feels super complete. This is lovely. As usual, please feel free to like, share, subscribe, or leave me a comment, as all of those things help me as I'm growing my channel. And I hope to see you guys in my next reading. Bye.